Salut lumea, eu sunt Randat, după cum știți, azi am găsit un joc nou. A fost la chevoie și am zis că ia să testăm. O să-l fac pe live, toasturile toate pe maxim. Ciudat îmi pune asta pe 8 ore, dar nu contează, în fel, mă uit pe prezentări și o să revin. Deci m-am plimbat prin setări, am rezolvat tot ce trebuie, sunetul și graficile și așa. Și ăsta e meniu, când începem, jocul se numește Dungeons 2, în caz că ne-am zis, nu mai știu sigur. Avem DLC-uri, ce am un DLC, nu știu ce fac DLC-urile, nu știu cum e jocul încă, e prima dată când am intrat în el. Sper că avem multiplayer. Dar astăzi o să mă joc single player, o să dau pe câmpii, cred că am și un tutorial și hai să vedem. Play. Ok, deci și acum suntem în joc, cred. Ăla cred că sunt eu, acolo din stânga. Dar nu sunt sigur că nu.
The laughable remnants of the forces of good had come here to make ready for the final battle. Evil would pay a high price indeed to storm those fortress walls, or so they thought.
Nu știu care sunt eu, sincer.
Suddenly, a rumble rose from deep within the earth. Stones burst asunder, revealing an ancient path into the depths. Out of the depths of Stygian darkness arises the invincible evil. With earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable evil began its trek towards the front. In the terribly improbable event that it may have forgotten how that works, a formidable help function has been provided.
Deci fu atacă pe cineva. 6 de 6, 6 de nuși, da, e clar. Deci dacă dau, nu pune aici și pe spate să crește. H-ul face să stea pe loc. Și eu. Wow. Ok, hai să vedem.
I said, with earth-shaking steps, the unstoppable, if somewhat sluggish evil began its trek towards the front. Even the forest could not withstand the aura of the ultimate evil, and beat a hasty retreat.
Da, să-l bag pe ăla, dar nu pot. Acum trebuie să ajungem aici în fața.
A determined absolute evil marched towards them in order to strike them down with its mighty weapon.
Wow. Mi-am rupt. Ce asta? Lot.
The absolute evil had discovered a medal. These legendary awards ensured a creature could be made even more powerful. Only one downside, the creature could only wear one at a time. Eyes ablaze with greed, the insidious evil gazed upon the blood-drenched battlefield. Here the last defenders of good would die, and an age of evil.
Asta am văzut-o. Ce aici? Ok.
Projectiles from the Alliance's catapults darkened the sky, but the Horde's fighting skills were at their best in darkness, if they survived.
Trebuie să-i bag pe ăștia rapid. Sincer, mi se pare destul de plictisitor jocul până acum. Dar... nu știu. O să văd cum e mai încolo, poate o să fie interesant ceva. Acum trebuie să bag pe ăștia rapid.
Defeating good was as easy as taking candy from a baby for the unstoppable evil. Candy.
Așa. Pe acum trebuie să sparg toate pultele astea. Aha, deci de acolo se spawnează ăștia, du-se să sparg atunci. Trebuie să sparg prima dată. Așa.
The absolute evil destroyed the defenders' camp in the west with the greatest of ease. Now, only one tiny camp offers any resistance to the absurdly evil evil. And even that won't be able to hold out for much longer.
Deci acum trebuie să spargem pe asta, să spargem catapultele alea, să spargem asta și... Deci am 1300 de damage de viață în total, ceea ce înseamnă că restul trupelor să zic au un short de 100, nu știu. Nu cred că am mult mai mult. Acum am și baza asta. Hai să vedem aici acum.
Now the time had come to attack King's Ending. The final battle beckoned. The city gate was firmly barricaded by the Alliance's
Skill-uri. Ok, și aici.
But the absolute evil would not allow itself to be held up by such ridiculous impediment. So, go get them, destroy them now.
Wow. Deci abilitățile astea sunt destul de puternice, după cum se pare.
The absolute evil used its all-powerful magic to eliminate the archers and open the gates of the city. Using its legend, wait for it, dairy powers. The absolute evil destroyed the impediment with ease and simultaneously eliminated a whole group of defenders. The road to the battle was now clear. The absolute evil did not hesitate for even 1 nanosecond. The insidious evil entered King's Ending. A small, pitiful group of defenders.
Aici cred că puteam să pierd foarte ușor.
Suddenly, the doors of several houses in the city opened, and with a loud roar, defenders bore down on the rather surprised evil.
Cred că trebuie să pierd aici, nu sunt sigur. Dar am foarte puțină viață. Hai să vedem ce se întâmplă. O să-i sparg pe ăștia așa. Nu, deci putem să
The invincible evil had crushed the defenders. King's Ending had been defeated.
Da, e destul de plictisitor. Oh. Acum aș vrea să mă împac cu răcile și cu... Wow.
Suddenly, the final heroes of the Alliance emerged from nowhere. Another ambush. Now, this was becoming very boring.
Chiar și jocul zice că e plictisitor.
This time it was different. Instead, the heroes raised their hands and started singing an incomprehensible chant. A magical ritual? This did not bode well. Well, actually, it bode the arrival of good things, great things, unless you happen to be the absolute evil.
What? Victoria.
Somewhere in the depths of the dungeon, the ultimate evil awoke.
Hai să vedem ce e asta acum. Deci, făcut un fel de ritual pe mine și m-am terminat. Am trecut peste poveste de greșeală. Sper că nu prea v-a apăsat de ea, e plictisitor oricum. Sunt curios cum e jocul sine, pentru că până acum mi s-a părut plictisitor. Cred că nici nu o să pun video dacă așa rămâne tot jocul, dar o să văd mai am încă vreo 20 de minute să mă joc.
Controlled by the ultimate evil.
Asta e mâna mea?
Come on, hand of terror, arrive, damn you!
Okay. Wow.
Methinks that exploring the surrounding area would be a sensible strategy. However, to do this, light would be required.
Deci, cum fac să termin? Oh.
Still not bright enough.
Ow.
An old throne room was revealed by the light.
Deci asta e mâna mea acum.
The circumstances remained a mystery. The hand of terror flew through the throne room, following each and every thought the ultimate evil had. After a few flying sessions, the ultimate evil was able to control the hand with ease. The time had come to call forth creatures who were completely devoted to it and would do its dirty work. Little snots were the dregs of each and every dungeon and spent their time taking care of it. The expansion-mad evil hired one snot on the spot. The first little snot appeared. It was completely ready to work in the dungeon and to crawl in the dust before the ultimate evil. Little snots were important to the ultimate evil because they took care of many important little things, such as excavating new areas. The psionically gifted evil could sense the presence of something important that was buried to the south. It instructed its little snots to dig in that direction. As quick as a fart, the little snot made his way to the marked position and began to dig.
Stai să văd, așa, deci deci dau click pe aia, să trag cu click. Ok. Ales puncte am 15 acum și aici. Deci dau aici.
Behold, the creatures of the overjoyed evil had apparently been much more industrious than it had thought. A great dungeon was revealed behind the wall. Everything was already in place. Doors, traps, a well-filled treasury. Oh wait, treasury? And where, if you please, is this treasury? Oh well. One can't expect too much of these mindless little snots. First of all, some gold had to be dug out to make space for a treasury to be created. The hand of terror swiftly marked a few small gold veins, so that the little snot could excavate them. As soon as a gold vein was selected, a little snot immediately set out to mine valuable gold for the greedy evil.
Aha, deci acum sparg tot aurul ăsta de aici. Ok, partea asta mi se pare mai interesantă, pentru că aici trebuie să-ți spargi dungeon-ul tău, cred. Sunt curios cum va fi mai încolo. Mațurile de astea sună. Da, și cred că am putut opri. Nu pot opri.
Once most of the gold had been mined, the hand of terror quickly created a treasury on the spot so that the precious metal could be safely stored. The clever evil mastered this task with flying colors. From now on, little snots could use the treasury to store mined gold. It was then at the greedy evil's disposal whenever more rooms needed to be built or new creatures recruited. The feisty evil's little snots dug up a spider's nest, thereby preempting some of my stories. Since there were no powerful fighting units in the dungeon, it was advisable for everyone to keep very, very still for the time being. Little snots were all well and good, but were too weak and cowardly to defend the dungeon. Since it was not able to defend itself, the ultimate evil would have to hire some orcs. But they would require food. Liquid food. Well, beer to be precise. So the most important thing to build was a brewery. And that would require some space to be created. The ultimate evil had the feeling that its servants were not really putting their backs into the work. Might a hearty slap from the hand of terror change that?
Looking units.
The sadistic evil encouraged its creature to work a little faster, with a friendly but not at all gentle slap.
Lucrează mai rapid. Și tu. Și tu. Mineața odată. Are destul de plictisitor, cum am zis, jocul ăsta. Poate va fi mai interesant mai încolo. Cum am zis, să fac... Cred că o să fac și campaniul ăsta și după mă opresc. Pare interesant, poate să mai fac un episod.
There was now an area cleared for the brewery site, and with quick finger snaps from the hand of terror, the room stood ready. Excellent. But the recently built brewery lacked a brewing copper. With a sigh of resignation, the overworked evil set about taking care of that too.
Cum? De unde? A, uite aici. Wow. Chestia asta uriașă. That's what she said.
The hard-working evil effortlessly built a brewing copper so that delicious beer could be brewed as soon as possible. One of the little snots started working on the brewing copper. The nostalgic evil banished all thoughts of Oktoberfest and brass bands. Those would have to wait. More important tasks had to be completed first. Both beer and gold were now available in the dungeon, so it was time to hire some creatures to defend against greedy heroes or whatever else snuck around underground. At present, it was only simple orcs declaring undying loyalty to the ultimate evil. The rest of the horde was scattered to the winds. Orcs were defensive post-combat specialists, capable of dealing with many opponents. However, they were very vulnerable to ranged attacks.
Să-l punem aici și să vedem ce face. Oh, man.
An eerie gong rang through the hall. It did not bode well for the ultimate evil's treasury stocks. For at each sounding of the gong, the creatures would collect their undeserved wages. However, there was little it could do about this, as it was chained to the throne. Thus, it had to give free rein to its servants' desires. For the time being, at least.
De ce nu poate ridica pe aia și nu este și gata? Nu sunt obișnuit cu controlele, dar cred că va fi ok meniu acolo. Mai e el acolo. Asta pot să...
The spiders dropped like flies. The strategically well-versed evil patted itself on the back, proud that it had led its troops into battle with such aplomb. And by led, I just simply mean chucking them at the enemy. The basics of a dungeon were now in place. However, the brewery was puny and didn't really have room to store beer barrels in, and the treasury was also anything but impressive in size. Quickly, the expansion-hungry evil. Suddenly, one of the repellent evil's servants became very thirsty. This was typical of a troop member of the unanonymous alcoholics known as the Horde. The Dipso made his way to the nearest brewery to quench his thirst. A thirsty orc arrived at the brewery. Eager and slavering, he started demolishing the alcohol-hoarding evil's stock of beer.
The evil has awoken, but its brothers are still asleep.
Huh? What on earth was that? That's not in my script. What a weirdo. No matter. We'd better get back to concentrating on the dungeon.
Ce zice să fac asta? Mă o să fac un pic repede genul ăsta. Și poate și partea asta. O să fac așa. Și sunt curios cum va arăta.
A huge monstrosity loomed out of the darkness on 8 legs. This dungeon's human guards had been ancient history for a long while. Now it was home to a huge spider and her brood. Would Sam and Frodo escape it and continue their journey to Mount Doom, or was this the end of the ring bearer? Hang on a minute, that's not the right text. Where were we? Oh yes, a huge spider, henceforth called the Spider Queen. It would be necessary to eliminate the Spider Queen before the Horde could reach the surface. The Spider Queen sent forth a wave of her children. Of course, the ultimate evil was fully aware of this danger and immediately prepared to defend itself against them. At least, that's what I hope.
Nu sunt cel mai ăștia. Mai e ăsta. Și mai am ăla de acolo în spate. Trebuie să fie 4 în total de aici. E ăsta. Și mai trebuie să fie unul de aici. Asta. Acum sunt 4. Așa. Nu se pune, că vreau să-i fac pe toți cei mici, cum îi zice jocul.
One louse-infested orc crawled up from the depths and declared allegiance to the ultimate evil. The first step towards the creation of a powerful army had been taken. The dungeon of the expansion-mad evil grew and prospered, but unfortunately, it had reached the maximum possible population it could currently manage. Now creature would have to be thrown into the bottomless pit before any others could be brought in. At the exact moment in which the ultimate evil hibernated, the spiders suddenly became aware of its presence and attacked the dungeon. This was an incredible coincidence and was in no way connected with any triggers or scripts in the level. The abysmal evil used the Hand of Terror to grab several of the creatures that were still completely inexperienced at fighting and threw them onto the spider's nest.
Bateți pe acolo. Ăștia să sper că nu mor aici.
The creatures of the ultimate evil suddenly developed a craving for chocolate. Chocolate.
Încă n-am murit nimeni de la mine, deci ok. Poate pe asta sper că nu-mi spargă ăștia mie pe ăsta.
The vile perversion, once called the Spider Queen, had nothing more with which she could fight the Horde. Later, the sensitive evil would have her innards made into a lava lamp. The way to the surface was open. Now it was time to put those vengeance plans into practice. The vile evil wanted to take this opportunity to utter a really sinister laugh. But unfortunately, its physical state... Once the ultimate evil had
Deci cam atât a fost și cu episodul de azi, sper că v-a plăcut. Mie, sincer, mi se pare destul de plictisitor jocul, chiar dacă a fost... În fine, n-a fost chiar nici plictisitor, dar n-a fost nici super mișto. Poate să mai fac un episod, sincer, nu știu. Poate să mai fac un episod, dar sincer, nu știu, mă uit aici să văd, pot să dai level și tot felul de chestii, bani înainte. Aha, pot să joc așa. Nu știu, sincer, o să vedem. Deocamdată nu o să mă joc, deci nu o să mai fac un episod. O să văd cum va fi episodul ăsta, dacă vă place sau nu. Poate să încerc și multiplayer. Cred că e același lucru. Și da. Pa, pa. Dacă vă place, nu uitați să dați like, share, subscribe și pa, pa.